It is a pretty cutthroat industry, isn't it? I still can't get over the idea of those failed human trials at the clinic. Just head up to that observation deck. I can't wait to see this tech in action. Stop by any time. We always have something interesting going on. Great. The first recipient of my greatest work, and they're not even interested. What was I saying? Oh yeah, for you, it'll be like going into a deep, relaxing sleep, and then waking up feeling refreshed and invigorated. Regardless of the pros, the cons are too morally and ethically irresponsible to move forward with. Even if the public did pitch a fit, there's always work to be found, especially when it comes to engineering. Well, let me tell you, science is not for you. This is great. I'll get some of my engineers on this tomorrow. The first part, the part Infinity stole, handles the manipulative effects. You got that right. I think she only ever saw me as competition and had no desire to collaborate with me. Masako's been pushing for Dominion's completion for a long time now, so I know she'll back me on this. Fair enough. And if you happen to find any more, now you know where to bring them. Okay, so DeMarcus and I have really been looking forward to it, so fingers crossed this deal goes through. Did you say Marzana? I thought most of that data was lost. Honestly, it's going to be fine. Zero downtime, no projected side effects. You're gonna love it. Yes, details. You see, the internal neuroamp is supposed to consist of 2 parts. Oh, the suspense is killing me! Exactly. Not that I want to gloat over it. Maybe just a little. Oh, don't worry. That's not on the agenda. Now let's test this sucker out. DeMarcus has graciously volunteered for science, he says. The moral violations do start to add up. Nothing in science is absolute. I had a hypothesis that you'd be all right, which we proved correct via experimentation. The perfect scientific process. It's so satisfying. Not only that, it's like this incredible tension has been lifted off my shoulders. Oh yeah, marketing and finance wouldn't have it any other way. Technically, that remains to be seen. I know there are downsides, but that's why we have an amazing legal team. We'll get it figured out. And second, the effect is temporary, so be prepared if you use it in a combat situation. I still think the pros far outweigh the cons. When my dissertation on cognitive reserve argued against the very theory she was presenting in hers, she never forgave me. The internal neuroamp is basically the next leap in our line of influential amplifiers. I know. You're right. I admit, I don't have a good argument against that. Of course. We've got, what, 5 PhDs between the 2 of us? Designed and developed right here. Remarkable, aren't they? I wish I could have been Ray DeCaris the day she first perfected the technology. I'd like to acquire them, although it won't break my heart if we don't. That observation room is just a precaution. Prepare for the worst, right? You know, if you can make some good happen with that internal neuroamp of yours, maybe everyone will reconsider? I'm not trying to be a hard ass. I just can't go any lower. But there's a lot of tech out there we use every day that has plenty of dangerous implications. Well, this conversation's made me feel like a proper monster. Nay, we don't even have all the evidence to make an educated decision here. It's probably why he's the second most published scientist here. After me. Double check those measurements are right. Anesthesia always makes me nervous. Ray DeCaris created Ryujin Industries with Itaru Saito back in 2307. Ha! Reminds me of my undergrad days. I can't believe I'm saying this, but he's right. Let's just say it varies based on the user. The second part is a shielding modification, designed to protect the user against other neuroamp users. Oh, Masako told me about imaging. It's completely irrational, right? I think I'll be processing this one for a long time. So, how are you feeling? You look good? She laid the groundwork that DeMarcus and I base all of our current designs on. You're overthinking it. All it needs are the proper rules and regulations. So, are you ready to get started? With the right purity in combination with other metals, the alloy is completely compatible with an amazing level of conductivity and no degradation. Some people have greater mental capabilities than others, which would increase the duration. If operation starts to bore you, let me know. You'd make a perfect lab rat for the R&D team. Don't be ridiculous. Of course I wasn't. I can hardly wait to finish writing up my latest dissertation. And you owe me 100 creds. Well, not the most extensive feedback I've ever heard, but at least it sounds like it's working. Don't worry. If all goes as planned, this will be just like taking a nap. I just hope that shipment isn't lost. So, tell me all about it. How did it feel? Any side effects? All right? Let's get this party started. If we gain Infinity Ltd, we also gain their contracts and tech development. I understand what you're saying, but that's something for legal and political systems to decide. I hope you know, you're talking about banning my life's biggest accomplishment. Fine. I get it. I hate to stop you, but I just can't be swayed on this. It sounds like you have an assignment to complete. And DeMarcus and I have a lot of notes to record. Humanity has always created dangers, and we've always policed them as well. And would I feel responsible as the creator? It's not that those aren't important, but we're talking about a massive accomplishment here. I know you're trying to scare me, but it's not going to work. Please, we're not infinity. We believe in due diligence when it comes to tech like this. I'm glad that's over with. I just want to get back to the lab. I can't believe we voted against infinity. I really wanted to get my hands on their research. I've got to get out of this mood. It's killing my creativity. The one and only. It was one of the first projects I proposed as head of research and development, so Project Dominion is like my baby. She's genius-level smart, which means she's just below DeMarcus, but she absolutely hates being questioned, which is never a good thing. I'll take that as a no on the side effects, and that toy you love so much is very powerful, so use it wisely. I guess it'll be up to a vote either way. It's not on the meeting agenda, so I assume you'll bring it up yourself? We just have to hope the others will see reason. Fine. Make your case. DeMarcus loves being hands-on and experiencing things on his own, but I only created it. I wouldn't be the one that actually used it to do harm. For me, it'll be a few hours of laser-focused skill. I like to think of neurosurgery as an art form. I've finally created the perfect alloy, but it requires a newly discovered refined element called rothicite. That's what I'm hoping for. They may be the underdog, but that doesn't mean they don't have a brilliant mind or two. And I have no doubt that Ulara would keep my department fully funded. I had the honor of working under her a few short years before she retired and entrusted me with R&D. Sometimes you start to wonder, what's the point? You probably don't want to keep Misako waiting. Faye may have stepped over a line in her attempt to replicate my work, but she's a brilliant engineer. If you feel any side effects, let me know right away. It's good to see you again. And finally, I warn that the neuroamp has a chance to fail, which will most likely result in the subject attacking you. Oh yeah. It gives Ryujin Industries a huge advantage over the competition. I was really worried when you brought up the neuroamp research, but I'm glad the board saw it my way. Besides, Misako, Alexis, Genevieve, they know how to handle this. It's hard to believe Misako won't be running things around here. It's not that I don't believe it, especially if it meant beating out a Ryujin product to market. This is groundbreaking work. My life's work. Don't tell me you don't know the name of Ryujin's founder. I'd love to guarantee the procedure, but really, there's still a 5.8% chance of complications. Oh, well, at least tell me what you think of the neuroamp. Well, this has certainly been the most interesting conversation of my day. The risk mitigation alone will be completely worth it. I leave it up to everyone else to determine what to do with them. You know how it is. I'm the one you've got to deal with, like it or not. I think the benefits are just too great to discount. After that SSNN broadcast, I can't imagine anyone's going to try something like that again anytime soon. I hope you're not actually suggesting that the technology I spent years working on and perfecting never sees the light of day, so I like to think that I'm wildly overqualified. Really, I could do this in my sleep. Aren't we overreacting here? We haven't even seen any hard evidence yet. It's times like these when I'm glad I have an office job. And as much as I'd love to test some of our experimental tech on human subjects, that requires special approvals. Do me a favor and watch your step out there on the floor, okay? DeMarcus and the engineers work with a lot of dangerous equipment and chemicals. You really think they could come after me? It does overstep some bounds. I'll give you that. I can't believe my greatest discovery is just going to collect dust in storage. It's like having years of my life just wasted. So, tell me what you think of the neuroamp. You're only looking at the negatives here. Why do I feel so nervous? Believe it or not, I've done my due diligence here. The pros just outweigh the cons. If you have anything at all on that project, I'll gladly take it off your hands. I should really let Misako kick this one off. Just head up the stairs nearby to the observation deck. Yes! Good. Hear that, DeMarcus? That's 2 for 2 now. Okay. As much as I'd love to go over the details and potential of this amazing piece of technology I created, Misako wants to see you. I guess there's still a chance that Alexis and Genevieve can work out some suitable guidelines. Wow, you're no fun. I guess there's no point in examining their failures. Of course I do. But there are amazing things Dominion can be used for, too. I'm very curious to see what else she may have been working on and dig into her research. No one likes a narrow-minded anything. And when you're a scientist, being open to new theories and hypotheses is part of the job. Yeah, I get it, okay? No need to keep rubbing it in. Now that's something to talk to the drone engineers about. But you're right. In a perfect world, tech like this is used for good. But this world is far from perfect. Ugh, I really wish they'd let me skip these meetings. I just want to get back to my lab. Misako, The internal neuroamp is ready if you want to send down the candidate. Can we get this started already? That's right. I'm Dr. Veena Kalra, Head of Research and Development. I oversee everything that goes on around here from neuroamp development to weapon testing. Phase pushed unauthorized human trials on products before. Your department's uncovered the evidence. Oh, I can see where you're coming from. It wasn't so much the intention as the challenge it represented. Do I smell rothicite? Just kidding. It doesn't actually have a smell. Here's my lucky candidate. I hope you're ready to embark on one amazing journey. I'm so glad you came through. I didn't even want to think about how long I'd have to wait if we lost this shipment. Nay, now, just lie down on the table once you're ready, and we should be good to go. I know Masako will be pushing for the acquisition. Well, we can't, but the shielding aspect was never officially a part of Project Dominion, if you ask me. DeMarcus is a little too excited about all this. Well, my tech is only a prototype. This is just the beginning. I think a fresh perspective is necessary to make sure this doesn't happen again. Exactly. It can rid the settled systems of violent conflict. I hate to think about what might have happened on the station. Every now and then. I understand the dangers, which is why I also came up with the shielding mod. Ready to finish that conversation? Oh, Masako told me about Ularu. It's completely irrational, right? I think I'll be processing this one for a long time. Hope you're ready to wrap this up. Oh, great. The first recipient of my greatest work, and she's not even interested. The internal neuroamp amplifies your brainwaves, focuses them on your subject, and overwrites their own electrical impulses. It's basically the ace up our sleeve for neuroamps. I'd be the next Ray DeCaris, my childhood hero and mentor. Maybe a change of leadership is needed in order to prevent this from happening again. I can't believe I'm saying this, but they're right. First, you can only influence one person at a time. And if we gain Infinity Ltd, we also gain their contracts and tech development. It's really unfortunate, but honestly, I couldn't ask for a better collaborative partner than DeMarcus. Let's just get this meeting over with now, right? Just imagine an era where we aren't using weapons to convince each other. I feel like that's reason enough. You were right about this one, Masako. Yeah, it's not ideal. It's a type of self-defense mechanism that I'm still investigating. The seamless integration of my internal neuroamp into your brain structure is the happy consequence of that experiment. He knows what the external ones are like, but he hasn't had the chance to play guinea pig with this one yet. It gives the user dominion over a less dominant target, meaning you can heavily influence another person's thoughts and actions. No way. It's my ass if something goes wrong here. First, you can only influence one person at a time. I hate to say it, but I'm sure she did. Now, I shall excuse myself and get to work on finalizing this prototype. I think we need a change in leadership in order to make sure this doesn't happen again. Yeah, I really didn't think this through, did I? I know she tried to ruin Masako, but it's going to be weird having a board meeting without Ularu. I'm afraid I can't give you any details. It's still confidential even though the project has been shelved. I've been trying to remotivate, but it's just so hard. That's exactly what we want. Looks like it. This should be more than enough. There's pretty much no technological benefit here. We've always been ahead of Infinity Ltd. The biggest unknown was finding the perfect compatible alloy for the implant. We've had the tech itself working externally for quite some time. This is why I leave repercussions for people like Masako and Alexis to figure out. You know I'm just giving you a hard time. Now, what was I saying? You don't scare me. The way I see it, you need what I'm offering more than I need what you're paying. Now, where was I? I'll be making a small incision in the back of your skull where the internal neuroamp will be fitted. You really don't have anything to worry about. The procedure is simple and safe. It's just a matter of getting the right materials. Seconded. I initially believed we could pull through this, but I suppose it would just be a waste of my time to be examining failures. Your subject will believe anything they do while under your influence is of their own volition. Oh, I do. But that's not a reason to focus on one but not the other. I got into it for the discoveries and to share those discoveries with the galaxy. Damn the negatives. You're right. I really haven't been taking everything into account. Look, I'd like to help, but Faye. Oh my god. I ran up against her while doing one of my doctorates in neurology. Well, luckily that isn't up for you to decide. Bye. And how's my favorite patient doing? Not seeing any temporal memory flashes or losing time, I hope. We're still not sure, and in this industry, it really could be anything. The sooner you get that rothicite, the sooner I can get started on my work. I knew it, I knew it, I knew it! Hey, we may not like the options, but we all have choices. I can't believe I'm saying this, but she's right. Second was that the effect is temporary. If you use it to pacify an attacker, be prepared to deal with them when it wears off. Finally, there's a slight chance for the influential effects of the internal neuroamp to fail, in which case the subject will most likely turn on you. Now, just a few details before we begin. Obviously, we'll be putting you under. Now, I'm definitely not sure about risking my career over this. Just a few quick notes before using the internal neuroamp. Right, but you were intentionally using it to do something illegal. Of course it's going to paint it in a negative light. Hey, let's not get carried away there. That terminology is a bit heavy-handed. Masako actually proposed the idea, citing numerous advantages for Ryujin. I couldn't resist. Faulty tools, bad estimates, even sabotage. Oh my god, that was incredible! What was it like? I still can't get over everything that's happening, but you're right. Think of it as incentive if you happen to find any more. Nay, there's always data against something, no matter how innocuous. She developed the very first neuroamp just a few years later, laying the foundation for this corporation. It's not legal, but those decisions will be left up to a higher power who is neither you nor me. My first note was that you can only influence one person at a time. This is due to the focus required to use it. I just don't believe the negatives outweigh the positives. You're gonna be fine. I'm not ignoring anything. I've taken the negatives into consideration. Nay, I guess I'll see you in there. All I'm saying is that you're in good hands. That's great. I'd say Project Dominion is ready for legitimate human trials in that case. There's little to no risk, assuming your brain is typical and you don't have any adverse reaction to the anesthesia. The whole procedure should only take 3 to 4 hours with little to no downtime afterwards, provided DeMarcus got everything entered correctly. I can actually see how bad that could get. Oh, please tell me you have the shipment. I feel like I've been waiting all day. I'm just doing my job, you know. I'm sure you're on the up and up. You were saying? I need that Rothocyte if we want to complete the neuroamp. First sign of trouble, we back out and start evaluating other candidates. Yes, I always love a willing subject. Agreed. I initially believed we could pull through this, but Masako's always fully supported my work, which is really all I ask. So until proven otherwise, I'm going to support her as well. I can't wait. Years of research finally about to come to fruition. It could definitely do a lot of damage in the wrong hands. I'm not trying to make your life difficult, you know. The process won't take long. Don't worry. Are you messing with me? Did DeMarcus put you up to this? It was nice seeing you. Ryujin pursued me while I was still in college, and I know they were interested in Faye as well. Excuse me. Did you need something? Oh, DeMarcus is my chief engineer, by the way. He's the only person here who can keep up with me, but don't let him know that. It'll go straight to his head. I'm pretty sure you're exaggerating. Remember to put that internal neuroamp to good use. What? No, of course not. They're purely theoretical. Ooh, look at that. Your surgical wound's healing like a dream. Second, the effect is temporary, so be prepared if you use it in a combat situation. I'm always happy to chat about my work, or worse. If I had just been a fledgling scientist working at that station on Carinae 3A, he's ready and waiting in the test chamber for whenever you're ready to give that neuroamp a whirl. And just lie down and relax. I can't wait to dig into the details. Let me know if you find any more. 100% pure, though. When it comes to the brain, we don't want to take any risks. Masako's the one you need to talk to. The internal neuroamp will be no different. It just needs to find its place. Our preliminary testing was rigorous enough that there's little to no risk involved here. It's true. Not just anyone could be trusted with it. Well, if she can make it through the current drama, I'd say she's more than prepared to handle anything that gets thrown at us in the future. And both of those applications would be great for Ryujin and humankind. I mean, I assume you're joking, right? I'll have to get that documented and we'll definitely want to run a few tests if not. How amazing would that be? DeMarcus, eat your heart out. Don't tell him I said that. He knows I love and respect him. I hope you're enjoying your new neuroamp. You better get back to Masako. Besides, I've got a neuroamp to finish. All it needs are proper rules and restrictions. I'm sure you were hoping for a higher calling within that story, but it's really the complexity and challenge that motivated me to do it. I think you should talk to Masako first. Big time. We'd be the only ones unaffected. Well, perhaps I really do need more data. It is. It really is. For years, my only focus has been, is this possible? And then, how do I make it work? Is that my beautiful shipment? Obviously not a feature, and definitely something to be addressed prior to official approvals. And all I need is the last piece of the puzzle. It was an afterthought of how to safeguard our own people from being manipulated, so it was being researched separately as a mod. Just a couple quick notes before using the internal neuroamp. All we can do now is look forward to the meeting, right? See you in there. There's nothing to talk about. I've already made myself clear. Great. Fine. I get it. But I'll be shocked if you manage the votes. Nay, that's the spirit. I can't wait to tell DeMarcus we're going for infinity. He's gonna flip. Hey there. I know it's not ideal, but I'm hoping to address it in future iterations. I had no idea there was still so much more to recover. Thanks for bringing it to me. Shelving my life's greatest accomplishment is probably the biggest low of my career. But, just in case something does go wrong, we've got him locked up in the test chamber. We'll just have to make sure there's a rigorous approval process to get one. I guess I never realized how much my drive to complete it affected me. I didn't get into science and engineering to have moral debates with myself. Yep, that's me every morning. But the whole point of this is no visual indication and no adverse side effects. So, sounds like we're on track. It's a very rare element that appears to be unique to the moon Carinae 3A. Seriously, you're the best thing to happen to Ryujin since, well, me. With this data, maybe I'll be able to reopen the project. I hope Ularu will continue to support R&D as much as Masako did. I never stopped to consider if it was right, or what it would mean. Great. The first recipient of my greatest work, and he's not even interested. I have to get back to work. Did you need something else? Well, well, look who's finally up. The operation was a success, obviously. Once you're able to refocus, let me know how you're doing. The final kink in both designs was finding compatible materials to use for conductivity that the human body wouldn't reject. Ugh, there is adequate data to back what you're saying. More than adequate. I'm glad you understand the position I'm in here. Now, we just keep our fingers crossed and hope no unknown side effects come creeping in later. I overheard the SSNN broadcast. It didn't sound good for her. One minute I'm working with a newly discovered element, and the next, dead. Without so much as a warning. One step closer to seeing market approval. Genevieve is going to be so excited. Stop by my office next time you're in the tower, okay? Funny story. The concept started off as a joke DeMarcus made. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that this was just the challenge I was looking for. But since no one ever died, and the only penalty was a few payoffs to cover injuries, I'm sure she didn't think twice about condoning them. Were you gonna finish that thought? So the next question is, what will the fate of Infinity Ltd be? Besides, I've got to make sure my patient is reassured. Besides, I don't want any of their research to steer me in a bad direction. The research itself was in early stages, too early for board approval, so only myself, DeMarcus, and Masako know about it. To think I'm so close to completing the final product. Neurosurgery is my specialty. I've performed more operations than I can count on a wide variety of brains. Well, I'd leave that up for Alexis and Lyndon to decide. Compensation's not really my thing. Thanks for finding this, and here's a little something as a bonus. And I love a willing subject. Now it's just a matter of getting the key ingredient. So I've heard. Sorry, but I can't. I hate waiting. DeMarcus better not be snooping around in my notes. Huge success. No surprises, no signs of rejection. You were the ideal subject. That's actually a really good idea. Just discovering the compatibility is going to open a lot of doors now.